Hey you guys, this is our promo before our main show. I wanted to make you aware that we have an amazing YouTube channel which features some of the great behind the scenes footage from our main podcast, as well as some amazing other new content as well that we've got coming up as well with some of our speakers, some of our amazing, I suppose, influencers and also sports personalities and Olympic athletes from around the world. It's great because you can sit down with a pen and paper. If you're extremely busy, you can make some golden nuggets just from a video. And you know what? It's great to connect with someone and see someone face to face by watching the YouTube channel. So listen, guys, go to youtube.com/Adam Strong. Make sure you subscribe to that YouTube. In fact, do me a favor, pause this audio right now, go straight to the YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to us and we'll see you there. Take care. Bye.
This is the Game Changers Experience. Deep dive conversations with leading business disruptors, Olympic athletes, celebrities, entrepreneurs, and influencers from around the world. This show will teach you insights about the winning principles in mindset, productivity, marketing, branding, entrepreneurship, business strategy, and more. Hosted by Productivity Authority, business strategist, former elite athlete, author, and public speaker, Adam Strong.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another fun-packed episode of Power Up Thursdays with myself, Adam Strong. And today, we're actually be talking about a subject which is all around procrastination. Okay, because the reason I kind of wanted to, I suppose, jump on here more importantly is because I see so many, obviously there's a lot of us working from home and, it's really easy to get out of the routine of putting in the hard work, okay, to get the desired results that you want. It's really easy, especially if you're working from home because our patterns have been disrupted and our lifestyles and things like that. And it's much easier to procrastinate, right? The big so what we're going to talk about today is number one, we're going to talk about why is it that people procrastinate. That's the first thing. And secondly, I'm going to give you some brain hacks about how you can essentially overcome the habit of procrastination. Does that sound good? So first of all, when we think of the word procrastination, okay, some people think that they themselves are procrastinators. All right. Now, I want to put this to bed, okay, is that you're not procrastinators. It's just that you have developed a habit of procrastination, okay? And there's a real big difference between the two. There really is. And let me just sort of say this to you, right? I procrastinate like pretty much most of you listening in procrastinate as well. So it's okay. We're all human beings at the end of the day. All right. But let's talk about the reasons why people procrastinate, because what is procrastination? Well, procrastination is essentially delaying something, okay, whether it be on a short term or whatever it is, okay, that you're delaying something for whatever reason it might be. But you're delaying something and you're not moving forwards, okay? You're coming up with what I call excusesitis, all right? And you're trying to avoid whatever it is that you want to get done. You have to put the work in order to get the work done. But let's look at procrastination as a habit, all right? And what's the real reasons why procrastination actually exists? Well, let me give you an example. If I'm under financial stress, okay, whatever that might look like, maybe you guys can share the same sympathy, empathy, or whatever it is. If you're under financial stress, are you more than likely create procrastination because of the stress? Probably, because maybe you become confused. Maybe you're not sure which direction you need to take. Maybe you're unsure of the path in front of you. Maybe you're unsure because you don't have any goals set and you're not sure about how to get yourself out of Alice in Wonderland's rabbit hole. Okay. So let me look at other stress. What other stress factors affects procrastination? Is it the fact that maybe there is a bereavement, okay? And bereavements are really difficult because it's not that you're procrastinating, it's just that your mind is not in the right place, Okay. And I'm sure that there has been times in your life where your mind has not been in the right space or the right place. You're disconnected. What other stressors? So I want you to write down a small list of all the stresses in your life that lead to procrastination, because it's normally the stresses that have to be, number one, you're aware of those stresses, number one, but number two is that you have to hit them head on. You have to deal with the stress first before you start kickstarting and putting in the hard work. All right. So we need to really think about that. Write down what stresses you, okay, whether it be finances, whether it be family worries, whether it be relationship problems, whatever it might be, okay, that is causing you to procrastinate. All right. And it's normally a trigger. Okay. It's normally a stress trigger. It's not normally your attitude or anything like that. It's normally stress related is the reason why people procrastinate. It's a disruption. So if we look at, for example, the current times right now, where the world is right now, okay, people are procrastinating because they're paralyzed by fear. It might be that the stress from, am I going to lose my job? Is it the fact that I can't get that promotion? Is it the fact that I can't grow my business, or that I have to lay staff off, or whatever it is that's stressing you right now? Okay. That is causing a disruption to your patterns. More than anything else, it isn't because of you as a person. It's because you have these stresses in life and you don't know how to deal with those stresses. All right. So what was I going to say? But you're not doing what you should be doing, and we've got to address that. But everyone, and this is, and now I'm beginning to, and this is the reason why there are so many views of cat videos on YouTube, because people are just procrastinating. So they're doing stuff, because what's the reason why people procrastinate? Well, number one, it's easier. Right? It's easy to procrastinate. It's easy to just put Netflix on. It's easy to put cat videos on. It's easy because it feels more comfortable. You don't have to get out of your comfort zone, right? You don't have to work, and you don't have to apply too much intellectual, you don't have to put too much intellect into the efforts, right? It requires very less effort. It's more convenient. It's easy, and that's the reasons why we procrastinate, is because of that. But what I would like to do is I would like to share some brain hacks with you about how I overcome my procrastination. I don't procrastinate too much, if I'm honest with you, purely because I've developed the habit of self-discipline. But we're going to talk about that another time. Today, I'm going to give you some brain hacks about how you can overcome procrastination and how you can then apply those brain hacks into your own life. So I hope you guys have got a pen and paper handy, or at least pause this and then come back to it, because you're gonna receive a lot of great golden nuggets from what I'm just about to tell you. So one of the things that I do, and it's so important, is to prepare yourself. All right. What do I mean by prepare? Okay. Well, as a business owner that runs 3 companies and has 4 children, by the way, my life is pretty hectic, right? It's pretty busy. So when people tell me that they don't have time and things like that, I just say, hey, come and work in my world one day, and I'll show you how you can become more efficient. So first of all, is that you've got to get prepared. You've got to get ahead of the game. How do we get prepared? Well, for example, Sunday evening is a great time where I basically sit down for about 1 to 2 hours and I start to plan out my week. All right. And, some of the things on my Sunday planning are things that I want to achieve during the week. What are the projects that we want to get done? And also, some of the priorities. So I tend to get the things that are most important done first and the least important done at the end, because then I feel like I've really accomplished. So some of the larger projects that we're working on right now, I always go for the larger projects first, purely because they're the more difficult ones. All right. They're the ones that is what I call hunting elephants and hunting rabbits, right? I try and go for the elephants. You've got to have a mixture of hunting elephants and rabbits at the end of the day, right? So you've really got to, plan that Sunday. And it's really easy to turn around and say, hey, these tips are really simple, but the reality is that the question you should ask yourself is, are you actually doing these things? All right. Are you actually preparing yourself? Um, if you listen to the previous Power Up Thursdays episodes on the power of letting go, I mentioned a brain hack in there, which is called the stop doing list, right? So rather than kind of having a notebook and having these endless pages of what to do, is to actually develop a stop doing list at the end of the day. That's going to help you really get really focused. And here's the important part, right? Athletes, especially Olympic winning athletes, and people that have trained with Olympic athletes like myself, are extremely good at getting focused. Okay. Focus one thing at a time. That's really, really going to help you. The other thing as well, with regards to prep, what else can you do to practice more? What is it that you can do to prepare more in order to fight procrastination? And, it's really interesting, actually. I was actually sharing if you don't listen to me on LinkedIn Live or on YouTube, for example, please make sure that you connect with me, by the way, and you can listen to the links below. I was actually sharing a video and speaking to my tribe this evening. And what I was actually sharing was basically not just kind of ways to overcome procrastination, but more importantly, to really kind of get yourself in that zone, more importantly. And it was just a really interesting. We had some great comments and suggestions, and there was some great rapport as well. But the other thing as well, which I find is really, really good as well, is to create like a timeline. And I'm a big believer in creating, I'm a great believer in working in surges, right? And I kind of use this a little bit I've kind of mentioned this in the past, but essentially if you've got like a whole day, is to work in 30-minute blocks and to decide on what you're actually going to work on within those 30-minute blocks. That's going to help you get that's going to help you really overcome procrastination. The next thing around preparation is reversing engineering everything. So if you've got like a big project, right, it's to then crunch them down into smaller chunks, right? What is it that you can do to create to bite-size them into bite-sized chunks? So that's my next brain hack. I suppose the next part of that is all around visualization. And I know that some people, it sounds like a really simple and easy thing to execute, but essentially I spend probably at least once, if not twice a day, turning my phone off in airplane mode and literally just finding some silence and some peace and quiet about what is it that I want to create? What is it that's in my head right now? What is it that I need to do in order to create the result that I want to get? Okay. And it doesn't matter right now that some of you may find it very difficult to visualize, and you might not be able to see what the end result is. And guess what? That's okay. All right. But you need to, and I get it. You gotta know where to go, right? You got to know where to start and where you finish at the end of the day, all right? But it doesn't have to be perfect. So you perfectionists, all right, that want to don't want to wait for the right time and the right place and whatever it is, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to start. You just have to move forwards, all right? And the other thing you have to ask yourself is, how does it feel, right? How does it feel? So when you visualize, all right, and there's many different ways in which you can visualize. One way that I do is just kind of peace and quiet, nature. I need to be near water. And I literally I don't close my eyes or anything, but I just need some peace and quiet and just remove myself from the distractions. And I just literally, at the end of my visualization, I write these things down, but I also like to make a journal about how it actually feels to write these things down. It's so important to do so. But to put yourself in the future, if you put yourself in the future, okay, that's what visualization is to put yourself in the future. How does it make you feel? How does it make others feel? What are the end results for others as well? So important, because that's what gets me really super excited as well about serving people. The third main brain hack I have for you guys is to tell people what you're actually doing. And it sounds really simple, but if you're doing a challenge, if you're working on a project or whatever it is, you're more than likely to execute your plan if you share. People love supporting others, right? People love that. Society love to support others because they get motivated by the fact that you're taking action. All right. If you speak to some of the people in my tribe, for example, and even if you're listening to this and listen to this podcast, congratulations. What is it that, if you want to be, and like I said, you need to surround yourself with who you become. So if you want to become more of an action taker, then hang around with more action takers, right? It's so important to do so. The other thing is to become, and here's the thing, right? With the habit of procrastination, and I kind of going backtrack here a little bit, but I want you to kind of really think about this, all right? Is to become more aware is, when do you procrastinate? Is it a particular time of day? Is it a particular day of the week or month of the year or whatever it is? But when is it that you actually procrastinate? Okay, because if you can figure that out, then you can figure out the next steps, which is, how do I procrastinate? What is it that I do to procrastinate? Okay. And the thing for me is, and I was thinking about this earlier on during my bike ride, is I'm extremely hard on myself, okay? Because I need to feel like I'm achieving. I like to feel like I'm moving forwards, right? Because if I don't feel like I'm moving forwards and I'm continually at moving forwards, even if it's at a slow rate or whatever it is, I'm still moving forwards, then I'm going to start, being hard on myself, man. I'm going to start really, giving myself, I suppose, a talk in the mirror more than anything else. And, it's not about motivation. Motivation is completely different. But it's to understand, how is it that you procrastinate? Is it that you, and I mentioned this, you watch Netflix videos or whatever it might be. Well, what is it? How do you procrastinate? And the other thing is, why do we procrastinate? Is it because of anxiety? Is it because of stress? Is it because of perfectionism? Is it because of fear? Is it because of a lack of energy? Is it because we feel overwhelmed? All right. Why do we procrastinate? All right. So, and the other thing, actually, the last brain hack, which is the fourth brain hack, which is all around rewarding yourself. Now, research studies has suggested that if you have put yourself a reward, which is fun and whatever it is, then you're more likely to achieve the end result that you want. All right. So just to summarize in today's Power Up Thursdays episode, is number one is to understand, why is it that you procrastinate? So that's the first thing. Okay. All right. It's not your fault. We're only human beings. Okay. But why do you procrastinate? Is it because of stress, anxiety, perfectionism, whatever it is? Make a list on your notebook. All right. Really, really important. Number two, and I kind of made this really, really important, is preparation. Okay. Make sure that you prepare yourself. Okay. Prepare yourself. And I've given you some great steps about reverse engineering and how to do that. Number three, we talk about visualization and the importance of visualization. Okay. How do you see yourself in the future? How do you feel about things and stuff like that, right? The fourth one is tell people about it, or get an accountability buddy, because you're going to work harder. You're going to, and it's the same as anything, even if it's, if you're in a gym, right? And you're more likely to work harder if you're with a training buddy when you're not, because you become accountable for each other, actually. So actually, there were 5 brain hacks, and the last one, which is rewarding yourself. All right. Super important to reward yourself. That, make sure it's fun. Make sure the task and the activity is fun and whatever it is. But those are my 5 brain hacks for you guys to make sure that you do. Hope that you've got some golden nuggets from today. Do me a favor, if you are listening to this podcast, make any comments or suggestions, share it with somebody that you may feel that would benefit from listening to the podcast as well. Would really, really greatly appreciate that. And really looking forward to moving forwards. I've got some amazing more content coming up. Hope that you're enjoying the podcast. And listen, have a fantastic day, week, month, whenever you are listening to this in the world. And Again, guys, make sure that you reach out on my social media channels. Love to connect, love to build a conversation and some rapport with you guys. So listen, have a fantastic day, week, month, year, whatever it is, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Hey, you guys, I just want to say thank you so much for listening in to this episode of the Game Changers Experience. I hope that you got some amazing value, some great insights, and golden nuggets that you can implement into your business straight away. I would really, really appreciate it if you could leave a 5-star review on the button below. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.